right, you bogey Lowensteins, it's time to dust off your starter jackets, rip off those tearaways, and blow into your game cartridges. I'm Sam Blanford.
I'm Pat Sellers.
And I'm Sean Kelly, and we wish it was the 90s. Welcome back, dear listeners. Today's episode is brought to you by Accountants Plus. More about them later. A podcast where we talk about things from the 90s with no real rhyme or reason, and today we're delving into a absolute classic of the 90s genre where you could find many YouTube videos that do a way better job of talking about it. 10 Things I Hate About You. So as usual, we'll do a few little memories, and we'll talk about our favourite bits, a character draft, and Pat will do his famous segment of recasting. We'll hit some Tracy trivia, and then if we've got a little time at the end, we'll see what our wives have got to suggest this week. Shout out to my wife who suggested this one and it made the cut.
Yeah, nice, Charlotte.
On that note, dear listeners, there's 3 ways to request an episode. Option 1 would be to comment on YouTube or on one of our social media platforms, or email us directly at wiwt90s@gmail.com. Make a request and we will consider it. The second way is to be one of our wives. And the third way is to pay us to do an episode for you, which we will definitely do. Give us money.
Even if it's not from the 90s.
Yep, absolutely. There is no obligations whatsoever in that regard. Probably $2 will get you an episode at this point. Shoot high, $5 for a guarantee. $2 for a high priority, and no money for possibles.
So US dollars?
That's better for us, eh?
Yeah, better exchange rate.
Who knows? Ask the accountants at Accountants Plus.
Well, so 10 Things I Hate About You, a classic of the teen high school romance drama comedy genre of the 90s. And before I express my opinions on this film, I'm interested in hearing people's memories. And we'll start with you, Sam.
Yeah, so I didn't watch this when it came out at the movies. I don't remember that at all. I probably wasn't eligible to go and watch it actually at the movies. My memories of it include anytime a high school teacher wheeled the TV down the hallway to your classroom, it was either 10 Things I Hate About You or 10 Things I Hate About You. I remember watching this 3 times in the space of about 5 terms in Mrs. Lansbury's English class. No, I don't know. I think it's classified a PG I saw on Disney Plus.
Not fathomable.
Not sure I agreed with that, but the teachers were willing to wheel it out as when I was year 9 or 12 or 13. So I enjoyed it this time around. I've watched it numerous times. But yeah, that was kind of my memory of it, was watching it at high school in the awkward years, and could probably Cameron was my spirit animal, I guess I'd say.
It's interesting that you mentioned the high school watching of it. Do you think your teacher was putting this on as an ode to Shakespeare, or a loose connection?
She would like to think so. But I'm pretty sure it was just the only VHS that belonged. Maybe it was a DVD. I don't know. It was the only thing that she had in the cupboard, pretty much.
Yeah, I remember when I was teaching in the UK, this was very common practice, especially for like an end of term sort of thing. But I guess sensibilities had matured a little bit in that you could only show 10 Things I Hate About You to year 11 or up. So you were stuck with She's the Man for your year 7 to year 10 groups.
And I had Bend It Like Beckham as well, actually. Bend It Like Beckham.
Yep. Paddy, memories?
Oh, times have changed, Bob, because I remember being at Silverstream, I think probably from about fourth form onwards, there was a few teachers that weren't afraid to throw out any given Sunday through a lesson.
I definitely watched that in year 10.
Different times. Yeah.
Just for a reference point, for people who haven't seen Any Given Sunday, they do cocaine off exposed breasts in that movie, and probably not the best thing to show to boys at a school in their pubertarian years.
Praise be. I'd say, looking back, when this came out, like a lot of teenage girls, I'd say this movie is somewhat of a sexual awakening, especially the paintball scene. Sorry, I've got Alice's notes here. Hang on. Like a lot of teenage boys at the time, this movie was somewhat of a sexual awakening, especially the paintball scene. I don't think I saw this movie in the 90s or close to it. I think that my reference of this movie is Not Another Teen Movie. Like, because I know the sort of two things is the poem and when he comes out singing that Frankie Valli song, which is on Not Another Teen Movie, is Janie's got a gun, and all the security come and rush her. So I don't have a lot of memories of this movie, so I might as well have been watching this the first time. Possibly was the first time I watched it all the way through today.
Wow.
Jesus, it's got heaps on.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. I actually really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the all the wacky sort of cliques at school. Like that, it was bizarre. Like as like a group of cowboys and stuff. Like it wasn't that far from Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah, you must have enjoyed the White Rusters.
Yeah, they were pushing boundaries.
I actually thought, in terms of I think Taming of the Shrew, from what I understand, is seems like quite a misogynistic, a lot of misogynistic values and ideas. And for something I know it's loosely based on it, but it was from the 90s. I think actually it didn't do too badly. There are still a few bits in there that are a little bit cringe, but as far as it goes from things from the 90s, it was pretty good, really. Aged quite well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it carries that 90s MTV edge, which, either was real wacky or, quite progressive, or like real dirty. I saw this at the movies. I can't recall who with, but I know I went to see it at the movies. I was at Hunt Immediate, and I doubt highly with my skill set at the time that it was in any kind of date form. There's even a possibility I saw it with guy mates. I can't remember, but I definitely went to see it at the movie, and I had a great time then, and I have a great time every time I watch it. But yeah, so just a couple of questions off the bat for you guys. Like, these movies, and almost to this day, are still kind of like this. American schools, is this what they're actually like? Like, obvious cliques,
do you mean like
massive campuses? Like, that school looked like a castle.
Yeah. It was almost Hogwarts. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is do you mean like the social aspect, or the actual school was huge? Like when they throw all the flyers out for Bogey Lonstein's party, like how many floors do they go down?
Yeah,
great shot, by the way.
Oh, and that tune.
Yeah.
I don't think the scene with the flyers was actually shot in that exact school. I might just throw it out there. I don't know. I think
about the fictional school.
Yeah. I think a lot of the obviously like the athletics track, probably not to that extent, but I think a lot of high schools have like spaces like that.
I suppose college sport is massive in America, right? Like college
high school
is, yeah.
College is like
is that uni?
University over there? Yeah.
Yeah.
High school's still big though, but yeah, like those facilities are outstanding.
Maybe some of our American listeners, since we're breaking into that market, could hit us up in the Slacks and let us know. Maybe it's just the rich ones. A lot of these kids seem pretty entitled. So could be,
It was pretty flash. Was
your
it
white
Padua?
Rastafarians.
Padua High School? That was good.
All right, that was my first question. My second question is obviously Heath Ledger's Patrick Verona is carrying an Australian accent. But Shah and I discussed at length of whether or not it was teetering on Cockney Australian.
He would fit in well at Bad Guy Bar.
Yeah.
Give us a recast of the X-Men animated series. If he was still around, he would have been a great pyro.
Probably was.
There's a
Probably
part
Heath
where
Ledger's.
Sorry.
Probably Heath Ledger's accent.
Yeah.
The
Apparently
time,
there was. This is probably. I don't think I actually put it in Tracy Trivia, but I read it when I was doing my research. There was a lot of concern about his Australian accent, but the director said it gave him a dangerous edge.
He's so dreamy.
Yeah. My last question. Did you feel like in the third act there were heaps of missing scenes? So you get
that would make sense because I felt like I was like missing stuff towards the end.
So there's a few things. So like Bianca and Kat end up having a fight because Kat's not going to the prom, right? Also, Kat and Patrick have a fight because he pushes her to go to the prom and then punches a dart in front of her. Which, how did she not notice that pack of durries in his pocket when they were rolling around in the hay? But
he's lighting a gas in that scene.
And then sort of after these, I guess and Bianca's getting her French lesson from Cameron and's like, why won't you ask me to the prom? So all these three issues get raised, and then the next scene is Kat walking out of the house going, goodbye, I'm off to the prom. And then Bianca's off to the prom.
To Bianca after that though, like in her room about her and Joey.
No, but that's when they have the argument because Kat's like, I wanted you to find out for yourself, but also I was protecting you and blah, blah, blah. And the next scene is, I guess it gets resolved by Kat looking out the window and seeing Bianca swinging in that tire swing that I think the better scene would have been watching her try and climb into it because that looked like it would have been very difficult. But yeah, I just felt like there was no actual resolutions to those conflicts. We just got to them. And, you know, Kat's decided to go to the prom with Patrick. Obviously, at some stage, Cameron asked Bianca to go to the prom.
I think they just rushed it, eh?
Yeah. It's fine. It's got a solid runtime. It didn't drag. But I just thought it felt like, I was like, what happened here? Everything's okay. Anyway, those are my questions. You guys want to get into some best bits / quotes?
Oh, yes.
All right, well, that sounds like Sam wants to go first.
Well, I just want to point out, and this is just a best bit of the movie. What a fucking soundtrack. There's just some absolute bangers. The ones that I particularly wrote down were 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies, Bad Reputation, Joan Jett, Sunshine on My Window, Spider Bait, Weakness in Me, Joan Armour Trading, absolute banger. Your Winter, Sister Hazel, and Didn't I See You Crying? But particularly the start, where it's the contrast between the 1 week and then it cuts to Kat in the car. And it's, I don't give a damn about my reputation.
That's good stuff.
Personally love that song because of Freaks and Geeks. But that opening scene, coupled with just every single song that comes up, is an absolute ripper.
Yeah, I think like they're all incredibly well placed for the moment as well. Like they all genuinely add to the scene. Pat, something from you?
I really enjoyed their teacher, is it Mr. Gordon?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
one of the
Morgan.
things
Morgan.
Mr. Morgan.
Yeah.
One thing I was like, this guy looks like the exact same age. Like thinking, especially because Heath Ledger and Andrew Keegan look like they're 30. Then looked him up, and he's like 12 years older than them. Did actually all make sense. He was great, but him and the dad I really liked. Dad had a couple of ripping quotes.
Yes.
Sort of 2/3 the way through. The best one being, "I got news for you. I'm down. I got the 411, and you are not going out and getting jiggy with some boy. I don't care how dope his ride is."
It's great.
That's not the. I don't reckon that's the best part of that whole bit.
Oh, the best part of that part is when the guy throws his thing back.
No, no. The best part's when he goes. When she goes, "I just want a bit of normalcy or teenage normalcy," and he goes, "What's normal? Those damn Dawson's River kids sleeping in each other's bed and whatnot."
Yeah, I hate that written down too. That's good. That whole scene was pretty good.
I like at the end of the scene where she's walking off and he mutters to himself, "My mama didn't raise no fool," and then his thing comes flying. Goes, "Thanks, Bill." I double down on him. I love the part where they're talking about Bogey Lowenstein's party, and he just cuts right in and goes, "What's a Bogey Lowenstein?"
He's actually just fantastic. We'll get to him in the character. He's going to be a high pick in the character draft, let's be honest. But I quite like his love for infomercials. Goes with his widowed father character, but the bald spot spray I thought was very good. Obviously, he had the ab roller, got the bike outside.
Interesting.
And whatever Bill flicks back to him.
Yeah, whatever that exercise contraption is.
All have known one of those infomercial peoples who has everything they see online.
Paddy, more from you?
I just had I don't know how you guys felt about it. I just got really annoyed at one scene for some reason. It was when Patrick goes to see Kat at that bar. What is it? Is it Club Skunk or whatever? She's dancing around, and she gives herself a little hand wave. She's too hot, and she goes, "I need agua."
Oh, I wrote down, I hate agua.
I paused it for a second. I was like, what the fuck? I went back and rewatched it. And I don't know. I've been thinking about that for most of the day and just getting a bit annoyed. But I'd enjoyed most of the film. But that part.
I've definitely got a note that says, "I hate how she says agua."
I need agua.
I'm just going to put it out there. That is so much better than Bianca.
Yeah, Bianca's actually. I think Bianca would be. There could be 10 people on this pod. I don't know if she'd make the draft.
Just Julia Stiles in general.
Those two actors auditioned for the opposite parts.
What? Oh, Julia Stiles dancing on that table. Wowee.
Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, that was outrageous. But her saying agua really knocked her down a few pegs.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I wonder if she ever watches the film and goes, "Why did I say that?"
It doesn't seem like a written line.
I've got some quotes I really liked. When it's Cameron and what's his mate's name? Michael. I keep forgetting during it.
Call him William.
Or just
Michael William.
Bernard the Elf.
When they go to talk to Patrick for the second time to discuss the plan, and Patrick says about Bianca, "What is it with this chick? She have beer flavored nipples?" Probably another one of my really favorite moments is when there's a ring at the doorbell at Bogey Lowenstein's. must be Nigel with the brie. But probably my favourite quote in the whole movie, and it's only 2 words. It's when Joey finds out there's a fight, and he goes, "Ooh, fight!"
That guy's doing heaps of weird stuff throughout the entire movie. He's brilliant. Old Seven Heaven man.
I'm absolutely a big fan of Joey.
Yeah.
I really liked the constant references to Patrick's character's like past. So obviously, like all these people would like spread all these rumors about him, and every time Cameron and Michael like go to see him, it's like they're worried about something, and like
in the bar.
And he's like, should you be drinking alcohol when you don't have a liver? And Patrick's like, what? And he's like, nothing.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. That was good.
And Cameron like stuttering like in a non-prison related manner. That was great.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Although I don't like Bianca, I quite like the part where she gets a Back to the Future moment where she cracks Joey and then she goes to pull Cameron up and she goes, "Are you okay?" And that's a direct reference to George McFly.
Is it?
Very good.
Well, it should be. If it's not, it's great. Great minds.
There's one more bit I had.
Oh yeah.
And it's Michael. It's a random. I never remembered it before. I don't even know when the scene is. I think it's about when they're going to go to that concert. But he's pulls up at the lights in his bike, and he's got like a basket on the front, and he's like these big bikies parked up next to him, and he's like, "Nice bike." And he like gives like a big thumbs up. He's like, "Yeah, you think so?"
It's a couple good scenes on that bike. Right at the start when he flies off the car park down the hill. It's pretty good as well. Everything flies out of his basket.
He carries this incredible obliviousness to his standing in the school, although he's also very aware of it at the same time. I just found a quote. I didn't put it in my quote section because it's in my character draft section, but when Joey chimes in on he kicks Mr. Morgan kicks Kat out of class, and Joey says thank you or something like that, and he just goes, "Pipe down, Chachi."
So doesn't he say one of these days someone's going to bitch slap you and I'm not going to do a thing or something like that?
Now the pipe down Chachi's at the start. He says shut up when he says he's like he goes, "Thanks, Mr. Morgan." He just goes, "Shut up." Oh, he's great.
I'm just trying to see if I just noticed that when they first talk to Patrick, Michael talks about how Cameron has a Major Jones for Bianca, and I'm like, I know this phrase. I've heard people saying they have a Jones for someone, but I've never heard someone say that in real life.
No, I have not either.
How old do you reckon Patrick's mate was with the mohawk?
I mean, it's hard to say. I did notice that Joey's mate, who he makes the bet with, has a fully fledged goatee.
All right. Yeah.
Just something else I noticed that's probably worth mentioning. Gabrielle Union, who plays Chastity, is like a queen of this genre. She's in She's All That. She's like the main rival in Bring It On. And She's All That, I think, might be before this, but Bring It On's definitely after this. And she's like 28 in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Wow.
She's also on one of the Bad Boys movies.
Oh, yeah.
Lawrence sister that Will Smith ends up with. Is it Bad Boys 2?
He's correct.
I can't remember Bad Boys. Will Smith's got cancelled. The other thing that I noticed this time around is when Kat asks Mr. Morgan if he wants it in iambic pentameter. For the first time in my life, I was like, I know what iambic pentameter is.
Yeah, nice.
No idea.
It's 10 syllables per line in Shakespeare, or in a poem.
Cut that bit out for you, Pat.
Cool.
Anything else, lads?
Let's get on to the character draft. There's a few goodies.
Should we, while you're pulling the names out, should we cut to an ad?
Yeah, cut to an ad.
All right, me and Pat will do this for you. Patrick.
Hi.
Patrick, how much do you hate tax time?
I bloody hate tax time. Too
Some would
much
say it's-
happening.
Some would say it's the worst time of the year.
Ooh. That was Halloween.
What would you say if I could say I know an accountant who could take care of all of your contracting tax needs, so you don't have to worry about your tax rate, filling out your IR 330, or any of the other nonsense that contractors have to go through?
I'd say you're lying.
I'm not lying, Pat, because our good friend Jace at Accountants Plus can take care of all of your accounting needs, and he doesn't just do contractors. You run your own business, he's there for you. And he's not like the big companies, Pat. You're just another name on the books. Fill out some forms, talk to a bot. Jace will sit down with you and do it all with you on the spot. So that's why I recommend Accountant Plus.
Sounds too good to be true.
It's not. We'll link his website. No, his email address. You go to him directly in the show notes.
Let's ask him first.
Yeah, all right.
Not bad for one take. Let's.
Now back to the show.
But pulled the names out.
Oh, who's first?
Patrick is first.
Damn it.
I think first's a great spot to have. Sean is second and I am third. Be honest, you can't really go wrong here. But I think first is good because there are at least about, I've got 10 characters written down. So sixth is going to be a good character.
What do you got, Paddy?
He was discussed early as potentially going very high in this draft, and I reckon I've got two sneakies for six. So I'm going to take the dad, who I don't even know his name, but
Walter.
I'll be taking Walter
Stratford
at number one. Yeah, he was bloody entertaining. He does seem like hard work though, so exploring more of that story of why his wife left him would also probably be quite interesting. But anyway, I'll take the dad, Walter.
Excellent pick. I'm quite torn here.
Actually, Sam, am I allowed to call him Walt?
Yeah, we were talking before we started, and you called you called Bogey Boogie. So I was hoping you. I was hoping
you
came up.
You shouldn't have corrected me in that because I would have called him Boogie in this as well.
Gonna mug you off something chronic. So on you, Sean.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of great options here. I don't want to discuss them because I don't want to put ideas in people's heads. But yeah, I'm like you, Sam. I think I could pick six on my own here. But I'm going to go with a character who actually hasn't been discussed yet. The greatest author in the story, Miss Perky.
Damn it.
Oh, that's so good. I forgot to mention her.
Yeah, she was bloody good. I really enjoyed her Marge Simpson Chanel suit at the start as well. Pretty good.
She steals every scene she's in.
Penis bitch is the term more often used. It's hard. There's a lot of main characters who I think are really good, not necessarily funny. I'm going to mention some of them. I know that they potentially could be picked, but I don't think Bianca should be picked. I don't think Cameron should be picked. But like Heath Ledger's not like Patrick isn't amazingly funny, but he's great. Kat isn't amazingly funny, but she's great. Best character in this movie, definitely Michael. And I'm very glad to pick him at 3. I think his name's David Krumholtz, who's the actor. Does a fantastic job. Every scene he's in, he's really great. especially like the scene at the start where he's showing Cameron round and talking through each of the different groups. I think at one point, yesterday I was their king, talking about like, the Harvard grads or something.
Yeah.
He wrote a piece for Vulture explaining why he thought the movie worked so well, and he said from day one, all of the high school actors, the main ones, like got on incredibly well. They like formed a real big bond really quickly. He taught Joey's character how to draw a penis for that scene.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, he just said they all got on real well. He introduced Joseph Gordon-Levitt to Wu-Tang.
Oh, nice.
And he's apparently Heath Ledger wasn't on set to start with. He joined later, and everyone was worried how the dynamic would change. But apparently, he just slotted right in. Anyway, sorry, back to your picks.
I'm glad that you had that little conversation there because they do seem to dislike each other a lot in the movie. My fourth pick is Joey.
Great pick.
He plays the heel extremely well. He's got the off face for it. And he's just a slime ball. Like, I love the way that he goes on about his acting career. And like, I've got to shoot tomorrow when he gets punched in the face. He's great. I don't like him, obviously. I everything that he's about, but he obviously just plays the character fantastically and generally makes the scene better when he's in it.
Everyone's gone from my list now.
Yeah, I'm still torn. Like, I desperately want to pick Patrick, because Heath Ledger definitely does carry this film. Like, everyone does a really good job, but he is a foot above. For his first American film as well, he's just really, really good. But I'm going to pick Mr. Morgan.
That was my other option.
And just honourable mentions before Pat picks, I was very close to picking the football coach as well.
Yeah, the one that she gets up in his face while Patrick escapes.
Just love it.
That's Morgan getting up in his face.
I'm confiscating this.
You look pretty nervous.
And then when he
sweating
sees,
like a pig. Your eyes are all bloodshot.
and then when he's walking past and he sees the Cheetos, this too.
I need to do my Wolverine voice there. So.
Pat, last pick.
Yeah, it's looking pretty slim pickings now. I was definitely keen on Miss Perky was originally my number one when I had Bernard the Elf. Joey was, you were spot on there. Like the times where Joey's talking about his acting when he's doing those two different poses that are the same pose, which I feel like Zoolander stole that at the party. It's good stuff. I'll take Kat on 6 because she basically runs the ship on the majority of the story. And as pointed out earlier, hell of a dancer.
That scene.
Yeah. Just want to, something I forgot to mention before that I would have mentioned if I picked Patrick. There's the scene where they're talking about what Kat likes, and they say, and apparently this could be a bit of a problem, but she likes guys who are pretty. And then it does a close up of Heath Ledger's reaction, and I froze it, and I paused it, and I was like, "This is the prettiest person in the film." Like, this man is incredible.
His cheekbones.
Some dirty long hair makes him unattractive. I don't think so.
Well, he's not getting what do they call them? Tube sock commercial gigs. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned Kat. Call me cheesy, paint me corny. That poem at the end gets me every time. The poem talking that she's saying she's still in love with Patrick.
Is very good. His reaction to it is also very good.
Mr.
It's
Morgan's
just lovely.
reaction to it's also very good. When she says she's happy to read, he's like, Lord, here we go.
All right. Well, you know what time it is, boys. Welcome back to Tracy Trivia. So there was a lot, and
Well,
so I had to.
we got 4 minutes.
Yeah, I've only picked maybe 5 or 6 good ones here. Things that I thought was interesting. So first one, when Kat reads the 10 Things poem that Sam likes so much, it was the first and only take. Kat's tears towards the end of the poem were real and not planned.
Ow.
It's good acting. Speaking of
Doesn't
good
act
acting,
anymore, right?
It's not good acting if it's real.
She doesn't act anymore, right?
thinks I haven't seen her for a while.
Julia Stiles is like just gone back to the average Joe lifestyle.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of people who don't act anymore, Heath Ledger. Is it too soon?
He quit as well.
Yeah. The moment where he starts playing with the fire, that was improvised.
Really?
Yeah. I think we mentioned already it's his first American movie. Interesting fact where how Cameron learns, or Cameron's. Do you guys know Cameron's last name is James? Cameron James, an honour to James Cameron.
Wow.
But Cameron obviously learns French to tutor Bianca in the movie, but in real life, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fluent in French.
He would.
He dated
He can
Julia
do
Stiles.
Julia Stiles was the one who suggested that that Heath Ledger sing Frankie Valli's "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You." They had I didn't save it, but they had another song lined up. I hadn't heard of it, so I didn't care. But they couldn't use it because it just popped up in a movie not long before the Scream.
It's a good choice considering they had the band out there as well.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
Real marching band, and the guy who he pays off in the hall is a real marching band guy, not an actor.
Oh.
Very good.
I loved how Heath Ledger slid down that pole.
How he does the goofy running style to get away. The whole thing is just. Heath Ledger beat out Josh Hartnett and Ashton Kutcher for the role of Patrick.
Fuck.
See that.
And then the obvious one is the Taming of the Shrew. Several of the elements of the film are based on things to do with Shakespeare. The girl's last name is Stratford. Shakespeare was born in Stratford upon Avon. Patrick's last name is Verona, which is the birthplace of Petruchio from the Taming of the Shrew, and that's the character he's supposed to be. The high school Padua, that's the city where the play is. And Katrina and Bianca are the same names as the sisters in the play. There was something else. Oh, yeah. So Heath Ledger drew upon Richard Burton's portrayal in The Taming of the Shrew, as well as giving him what he described as Jack Nicholson edge to him with the cheekiness and his smiles. Coincidentally, both actors played the Joker in Batman movies.
Very good.
And Jared Leto gets a mention that there's a picture that Kat had hidden in her drawer, who also played the Joker.
Oh,
Poorly.
Yeah, with his smile, you can see the Joker. He becomes with his smile and this like that big wide smile with the big dimples.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's on if you didn't know the Joker, it's just a nice big sort of big old grin. But when you've seen Dark Knight, you instantly sort of go like, ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
One little factoid I picked up when I was trying to do the recast was there was a TV series adaptation of this, and it starred cousin Greg from Succession.
Yeah. Who was he?
I don't know. One of the main characters. It's like the picture of like the on Wikipedia. He's like one of the 5 main characters. Just up
To
there.
look
He
into
looks the
that.
same age as well.
Excellent. Well, we've just got enough time for Pat's recast.
I've also done a recast. How are we
Hmm.
going to do this? Are you going to do your cast and I do my cast, or we go like?
Or we go
Let's
one
just
for
do a
one.
character and argue about it.
Okay, we might. It'd be good to see if we got the same person for some of them.
Yeah,
Alright, do you wanna
I
start?
found
We'll
this
start
one
with-
very hard because the characters are meant to be really young. So heaps of mine are way too old. But
But that's
let's
okay
start with
because most of
Patrick,
these actors are old. Yeah, what you got for Patrick?
the best named character, Patrick. I've got Cole Spruce or Sprouse.
Sprouse.
Recently mentioned on this pod in Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And also Riversdale. That's who I've got for my Patrick. Who have you got, Sammy?
He's also the Ross's son on Friends.
He is.
And Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Sorry, as you were.
Also known as Ross's sometime son.
Of Stranger Things fandom, my Patrick is Dark Grey Montgomery, who's Billy on Stranger Things, if you've seen Stranger Things.
I know him. He's the Red Ranger in the terrible Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, I reckon he's got the dirty hair. He obviously plays an edgy character in Stranger Things. I reckon he'd be a pretty good he wouldn't live up to Heath Ledger, but he'd be a pretty good Patrick.
I like it. I'm happy with it. I don't have a
You
Patrick.
pick the next character.
I'm going to go with Joey. And I want my Joey to be played by KJ Upper, also from Riversdale.
I had him and I swapped him out for Tom Holland.
Oh, that's who I put.
Hey.
I think he'd be too nice, though.
He'd almost be a Cameron, wouldn't he?
Have you ever seen him do anything in real life? I mean, he seems nice enough, but he's definitely like a massively arrogant prick. But
British wanker.
lovely bloke at the same time. He basically is Joey in real life almost.
He'd do a good slick back here, I reckon. That was the main thing that got it for me.
Yeah.
Could we agree on something?
Speaking of, Tom Holland's girlfriend Zendaya would make a very good cat.
So, I did have her.
Yeah,
my cat.
so did I.
I couldn't find a suitable Bianca that I could pull out of thin air.
Right. I've
So
got. I might switch Zendaya back. Actually, I did find someone else, but I'm going to go Zendaya, and my Bianca is Lukita Maxwell, who is in a new series on Apple, Shrinking, and she's outstanding. And that series is outstanding as well. I think they'd go very well as sisters as well.
Like that. Mine.
You give us your sisters.
My sisters. If you've watched White Lotus, Sydney Sweeney, who's in White Lotus season 1, she is the blonde daughter.
Isn't she?
Yep.
She's also on Euphoria, isn't she?
Yes, correct. She's on Euphoria. She's outstanding.
As who? Bianca or Kat?
Bianca.
Right.
My cat. She could probably actually play Kat too. But my cat is Sophie Turner from Sansa from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Jean Grey.
Like it.
Yeah, I think she would go all right.
Very good.
We certainly need to cast Michael.
Yes, I have a Michael.
You can go.
Mine is I'm going back to the Stranger Things well, and it's Gaten Matarazzo. Plays Dustin in Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I reckon he'd be quite a charming William Shakespeare-ish character.
Yeah, I had him on my list, and then I went with how to say this guy's last name, but it's Sean Giambroni. He's the kid off the Goldbergs.
Did you say jabroni?
Giambroni.
Wayne?
You're a jabroni.
Jabroni.
Giambroni, the Goldbergs kid. I think he would be a pretty good Michael. He could be a boogie bogey Lowenstein as well, though, and you could have Dusty as your Dusty from Stranger Things as your Michael. Yeah,
Got four more. I got four more.
Characters.
Who's your Cameron?
We've probably got the same, I reckon.
I reckon we do based on your other picks. If you went
Okay.
back to the well,
I went to the Netflix well, though.
Okay.
Sex Education's Asa Butterfield.
Oh, yeah. Good pick.
As Cameron, I think he plays very like
Interestingly, was one of the close Spider-Mans that Tom Holland ended up getting.
Yeah, well, Tom Holland wasn't also possible Cameron. But yeah, Asa Butterfield, I love him in Sex Education. I think he'd be a great Cameron.
I was thinking you might go back to Stranger Things once again. My Cameron is Finn Wolfhard.
Oh, yeah, he's just so odd looking.
Mike Wheeler. I think he'd play a good Cameron.
I win that one, sorry.
Disagree.
I've got Miss Perky, Mr. Morgan, and the dad. They're the only three others I've done.
I've only done the dad, who I've got as
let's do that, you know.
David Koshner. He's Champ Kind on Anchorman. Whammy!
Oh, yeah.
I think you say David Duchovny for a second there.
So did I. I'm going left field. I like it.
Probably should have learned how these names were pronounced before we did this.
He's pretty much a granddad. I just revel in him. Eugene Levy.
He is a granddad, but he definitely do this well.
I'm enjoying his travel show on Apple, actually.
Yeah,
it's real classic.
It's a show. He's what's it called? Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek.
His son, Sean Levy, would he'd be quite a good addition as well. He's probably a bit too old, but he's pretty good. I think he does like directing and stuff now.
His 30s.
He'd be quite good as a teacher.
I like it.
The only other two that I recast are current members of the cast already. And Miss Perky is Alison Janney.
Yeah, that's good.
She needs to stay on as the guidance counsellor. And I've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, it's good bringing back the originals. Yeah,
he's just got a bit of FU about him now, and he'd put, who'd we say is Joey? He'd put Tom Holland in his place.
I had another thought about Joey that I forgot to mention, but certainly the Stranger Things. Well, I think Steve would be pretty good.
Yeah,
I did think about Steve.
I did have the principal. I had Tina Fey.
Oh yeah, the principal.
The principal.
Do you mean the counsellor?
Miss Perky. Is she the counsellor? I thought she was the principal.
She's counsellor. Counsellor.
Yeah, who's the principal? This giant school.
In the when she's writing her novel, at the top of the Mac Word document she is working on, just says Perky. You think that's the name of the book she's writing?
I hope so.
Or a series. I feel like she'd be writing a series.
Gone overboard with the descriptive language. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So you've used too many adjectives. Is that us? We wrapping this up?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
I need agua.
You guys have any? My wife suggests. Any from you guys?
Still crying out for Clueless. Romeo and Juliet as well, which has been mentioned a few times.
You really need to do Romeo and Juliet because Like I won't be on it, but I know like Simpy is dying to be on it. I'd like to hear some other people. I know Simon or Zara, one of them will be keen to come on for that.
Would Zara do an episode?
Simon was, I think she'd be good on it, especially talking about Romeo and Juliet. It'd be good to get a female perspective.
I know. I know Serpy's real keen for that. It's like his favourite movie.
I'd definitely stand down for that one. You need people with a bit of intelligence in there to do that one. So I'll step down.
My wife suggests that we stop doing this podcast.
My wife's running hot after we did her first suggestion and has really dipped into the personal well here and has requested 1998's Billboard Dad starring Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
That might be a solo podcast, that one, Sean.
Is it a cringe factor?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather do New York Minute because that's brilliant, but that's 2002, I think. I'm up for a Billboard Dad. Maybe me, Shah, and Zara.
Yeah, you and Shah can talk for an hour about Billboard Dad.
Fair enough. She's not going to like your response to that.
I've never even heard of Billboard Dad. I'm sorry.
Well, they've got like.
I'm interested.
There's because they made like 100 films in the 90s. I think they might be straight to VHS. Billboard Dad might have been a film release, a cinema release though.
Became for the Olsen twins Parent Trap.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, we're doing an Olsen twins episode.
I like it. Full House.
Just done a quick Google search of this. It is not ringing any bells at all.
I have never heard of that in my life.
So that's in the definite pile. So let's wrap things up.
All right, listeners, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to hit us up on any of our socials, WIWT90S, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Feel free to. I saw we got, we were about 4.5 stars on Spotify. Didn't realise that. That's great news. Thank you to the 28 people that have rated us. I really, really appreciate it. Feel free to keep them coming in, and on your other various apps where you can write something, write whatever you want, but give us 5 stars. We really appreciate it. Like I said, if you've got a suggestion, send us money.
I remember, guys, rip it and rip it.